Our last race of the penultimate day of the season is DD2 and DD2 Masters. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Glenn van Parijs, who took his 6th victory of the season earlier on, starts from pole position, and he'll be joined by Estonia's Ragnar Virus on the front row. Zonder Shriblack and Patrick Knowles-Lokmelis from Latvia ran at row 2. Carl Klibort ends up starting on P5 on this particular occasion, as Mick Knowlton got a front-fairing time penalty post-race, as did the 5:44 of Rudy Champion. Klebot is actually joined by Mick Knowlton on row number 3. Yori Collin and Bruno dos Santos complete the top 4 rows, with Kilian Gerhardt and Christoph Adams completing the top 10. Yannick Goossens and Maxime Derix ran out the top 12, ahead of Rudy Champion, Devin Sagadi, Jonathan Wimore, Dmitry Ostrovsky, Maxim Shaposhnikov from Russia, and Belgium's Tom Dessert unfortunately received a bump, more than a bump. It ended up meaning that his race was curtailed very, very quickly indeed. Could I ask that driver number 138, Minimax, plus entrant Bruno Brazelis, to report to the stewards immediately? So driver 138, Bruno Brazelis, plus entrant, to go to the stewards immediately, please. Thank you. So 13 minutes plus an additional lap, and we will be done for day 1. Day 2 tomorrow starts a little bit earlier for warm-up and qualifying, because we also have to take into consideration the prize ceremony, the championship ceremony, and also handing out those 6 tickets to the grand finals. So into the tram lines, revs rise. Are we ready? For the final time today, let's go racing. And Van Parijs gets the whole shot and takes the initial advantage. Shreblack all over his back bumper like a bad rash. And it's nearly side by side between them going through into turn number 3. Virus was right with them. As they go through, oh no! Shreblack over the back bumper, going into turn 6, and there's been more dramas again for Tom Dessert. He cannot get a break today. And that was Jonathan Wimore over the back, his back bumper, well, his back axle over the back of Tom Dessert's back bumper. I'm going to have to just reflect on that and just when this race has been completed, because that is the first time, and that's not the first time, that Zonder Shriblack and Glenn van Parijs in recent racing history have clashed. Oh no, but here comes Mick Knowlton up the inside, and that was on Lokmelis for P3. Okay, get this. Now leading Ragnar Virus. Second, and leading DD2 Masters, the man they all know and love, the backer, Carl Klibort in second position. And Glenn van Parijs, I have seen he's had a very, well, I'm not at all surprised with what's happened. Shriblack went for a move and it just did not pay off. And Mick Knowlton up the inside of Klibort. Klibort knows that he's got to put as much points distance between himself and Jonathan Wimore. And the reason being, as we've got to move up the inside, Carl Klibort has to give way. Oh, now that cart went skywards, didn't it, Patrick Lokmelis? And Yori Collin trying to go up the inside of Carl Klibort. And there's Kilian Gerhardt, who was battling away with countryman Rudy Champion in the first race, and they are not in the same class, but they're running on the track nevertheless. And when I spoke with Carl earlier on today, this morning, before qualifying got underway, he said, yeah, it's going to be a tough one with all these young guys out there. Well, Carl just basically hit the nail on the head with the big sledgehammer and drilled it into a very, very thick piece of timber. So we could have a new race winner we could have another race winner this season. Ragnar Virus came fourth in the Euro Trophy. He qualified for the Grand Finals in his local, well, in the National Estonian Championships. But this now gives him an opportunity to say, well, you know that there's a bit of a battle here. Yes, there is. As we've got Rudy Champion and Christoph Adams side by side. Now, Christoph Adams has previously tagged the barrier, the foam barrier coming out of turn 7 through the chicane, and it broke the front left, quite literally. And Glenn Van Parijs are not at all in any... It's a disappointing end for that day for that man. He was on course for a 7th victory. And yeah, I've got no words for it. Tom Dessert has parked it. His day has been... It's been great in qualifying, but the races have been a completely different story altogether. So the drivers carry on their way. And Carl Clébaut is still leading the DD2 Masters, but the question is for how much longer? Because you have got Bruno Dos Santos, you've also got Christoph Adams, you've also got Rudy Champion, and this is going to be a very, very feisty affair. Very feisty indeed, because the change has happened. Bruno Dos Santos has got past Carl Clébaut, and Clébaut was trying to fight back. Rudy Champion's not too far afield from them either, and in the meantime, Rudy Champion has dropped Christoph Adams quite considerably. So apologies for those at home. I'm just keeping an eye on what's happening. There is a slight timing issue that we're just in the process of resolving as we speak. Nevertheless, Rudy Champion has done a number on Christoph Adams, and Champion's out for getting a second successive title. And he could, as I said earlier in the broadcast, that he has a chance of also being another driver that can get a second title on the bats. There are 3 drivers in the respective classes here that could, well actually, hang on a second, make that 4. 4 of the 6 classes. That's an incredible statistic. That's a 66% chance we have. A 1 in 2 chance that we could have 4 titles defended successfully on the same race weekend. How's about that for a one way to close out this championship year? But it's not all over until the checkered flag falls. But Ragnar Virus is being kept honest by Mick Knowlton. Knowlton is trying to close on in. So there is 6 minutes and 45 seconds still to go on the clock. First it's Virus, then it's Knowlton, Lochmelis. Yori Colin now is in 4th, ahead of Yannick Gersens, because they've managed to dispatch Kilian Gerhardt, as there goes Gersens up the inside of Colin, and Gerhardt, goes over the curbs, nearly went into the side pod on the left-hand side of Yori Colin, who's closing in on Gersens once again. And behind them, they've got quite a few drivers, Bruno Dos Santos being one of them, the 503. Carl Clébaut is in there. And then I spy with my little eye a bloke called Rudy Champion, that is. So this battle for what is effectively now the lead in DD2 Masters. Champion could get a victory once again. He did a clean sweep of 4 victories at Marienborg back in early July. He hasn't taken one yet this weekend, but the scales could tip in his favour as he takes a further step towards another championship title. So at the moment, it is Bruno dos Santos leading in DD2 Masters and Ragnar Virus leading in DD2. Yeah, leading in DD2. So the storybook has had another addendum to a chapter made to it. That's something I never thought I'd say on commentary. You have to make an amendment. Ah, which chapter? That one. And that's exactly what we've had today. And that has really changed quite a lot of things in terms of what's happened today. Knowlton is closing on Virus. Lochmelis is a bit further adrift, but it's all change. Musical chairs have happened a little bit further back because Jan Gussens has gotten away from the pairing of Kylian Gerhardt and Jordi Colon. And Klebort is the meat and the DD2 Masters sandwich right about now, going down the Europolan as on cue, Colin gets past Gerhardt through turn 7. And Champion's at the back end of that train, and so is Zana Shriblak. Now the thing is, on that incident between him and Glenn Van Parijs, that is down to race control. Tell us what happens on that one. So with 3 minutes and 25 seconds still to go, Shriblak has managed to get past Rudy Champion in the meantime. Dos Santos is leading Klebort by just over 2/10. But the battle for the lead is heating up with just over 190 seconds still to go plus a lap. Ragnar Virus hanging on ahead of Mick Knowlton. I'm just going to see. Neither driver has won a race this season. Knowlton's the closest one out of the two because he took a second in the final on day 2 at Marienborg at Karting d'Espagne. So, and oh, it's all concertinaing up behind Kylian Gerhardt. As there's Jordi Colin. You've also got Dos Santos, who's being chased down by Shriblak, and Shriblak up the inside, gets through. So the DD2 Masters battle carries on. And right behind them is Devin Segardi from Estonia, the 433. You know what I said about strap on in and hold on for the ride? I've got 2 words for you. Brace yourselves, because now we're into the last 2 or so minutes of this race. The sun is starting to lower in the upper atmosphere. Time is now coming up to 10 to 5 in the afternoon. Well, 20 to 5, my apologies there. So 16 of the 18 DD2 and DD2 Masters drivers still out on circuit. Zana Shriblak behind Jordi Colin still. Well, no, he's not. He's ahead now. So Shriblak has managed to make up another place in the meantime. So he's got himself up into what is now 6th position on the road. But the top 3 cannot be separated in DD2 Masters at this particular moment in time. Because Dos Santos, Klebort and Champion, who complete the top 10. They were covered by just over 4/10 last time around. And it's about the same, it's less, it's 0.382 between 1st to 3rd in DD2 Masters, and they're 8th, 9th and 10th respectively. It could come down to the wire. Last 38 seconds. Alexander Schriblak sizing up a move on Kylian Guérin from France. But the battle for the lead has been slightly extended. Schriblak has put in the fastest lap of the race, but Virus was quicker by over a tenth on the previous lap. We crossed the line with about 8 seconds on the clock remaining, so we're on to lap number 15 out of 16. And still, they are pushing to the absolute limit of adhesion. No one giving an inch, no one able to take a mile. And there's still all to play for. Champion in up the inside of Clébo. That was going through turn 6, I believe. And he's gotten through. So Champion close to bagging 20 points. And effectively, if he takes a good score tomorrow, maybe in the first race for DD2 Masters, I think the title could very much be assured as his. So, final lap board has been seen by the top 3. Schriblak's got an opportunity of getting 4th by the checkered, but Ragnar Virus leads the way ahead of Mick Knowlton by just shy of 4 tenths. And Devin Segardi, when Rudy Champion opened up the floodgates, got past Carl Clébo. But through 8 for the final time. Mick Knowlton has been close to a victory this season in DD2, but someone's going to be a little bit of an upstart, aren't they? Through turn 10, but Ragnar Virus, once he got the lead, he's kept it consistent. Checkered flag, prepared to signal the end of the day's action. And out of the final corner, Ragnar Virus takes a victory this season in the BNL karting series by 0.186 seconds. And he joins Davide Fore, Zander Schriblak, and Glenn Van Parijs. So only 4 different race winners this season in DD2. He wins by 0.186 seconds ahead of Mick Knowlton. Patrick Snolslock-Mellis rounds out the top 3 representing Latvia. Then a duo of Belgians at the end of it all. You had Jan Negusens and Zander Schriblak. Schriblak getting past Kylian Guérin for 5th on the final lap itself. Jordi Collen takes 7th ahead of DD2 Masters race winner this time. Bruno dos Santos from France, and Rudy Champion made it a French 1-2. And along with Carl Clébo and Rudy Champion, Bruno dos Santos becomes a race winner this season. Well done to him. Devin Segardi rounds out the top 10 overall ahead of Carl Clébo, Maxime Derrix, Christoph Adams, Dmitry Ostrovsky, Jonathan Wimore, Maxim Shaposhnikov, with Tom Dessert unfortunately retiring on lap 1 and Glenn Van Parijs on the very first lap.